Hello, children of the night, and welcome to Tarot Nights with the Hanged Empress. Here we do shadow work following the moon.
Yo, VI, play the beat.
Hello, children of the night. We made it to the Capricorn moon, and what I have been channeling since yesterday, just really feeling out this one song in particular, and that is Jim Bob by Hardy. I love this song. I really do. I'm not originally from the country, but I've lived in the country for a hunk of lifetime at this point, and I know Jim Bob. I know that guy. And I think that there is some deep lessons in that song, in the actualization of what reality is, accepting things for what they actually are, and that Capricorn realism is what's really gonna hold us in. I'm just gonna check this because the last time we did a little thing like that, my audio got jacked. 1 second. Try this again. We caught it this time. I saw it the first time. I didn't know what it was doing. But yeah, last read, our audio got real messed up. I did manage to fix it, but it was a problem. It's a real problem. Mercury retrograde, everybody. It's going to be a little hiccups. And some other things. But that's okay. We carry on. We move through. Just because we have to redo things. Pay a little bit more attention. Okay, so look at this. I started shuffling, but I know it was early. Because we're still stuck inside. We're still story timing a little bit. I want to talk about Jim Bob. Alright? And why Jim Bob is so important to this Capricorn moon. Because it's a realism. It is a truth. That some people are just who they are. And they are okay with that. They have consigned, accepted their status, their position in life. And they can choose to love themselves for that. And you can choose to still love this person. Like I said, I know this guy. I know that guy. That guy has told me some really deep things in the bar, drunk out of his mind, and I've learned a lot about his life, and you know what? He is who he is. He is a product of his reality and the things that have happened. So this is how he deals with it, and this is how he goes about his life. And he exists in this place, and not everybody understands it. A lot of people want to come in and try to change it, or fix it, or make it better for him, but they don't even know what's actually wrong with him. Maybe there's nothing wrong with him. Maybe everything that he's doing is a direct response to everything that has happened, and this is what works for him right now, right here. And there is an acceptance that needs to happen. At a certain point, people are people. We're going to have our flaws. Some things we're not just going to be able to change. Some things we're not going to be able to escape from. So embracing that as your character aspect is important. Just as important as making adjustments and trying to be a better person. You also have to accept where sorry, messages. Incoming messages, distractions. We also have to accept where we are, where we're at, what we've done, who we are, and how we function right now. And sitting in that comfortability of that place, of that position, can give you that perspective of, do I really need to change this thing? Or is this who I am? Is this how I'm going to carry things out? And that is the mountain that we're going to climb. And accepting other people for who they are too. Accepting them for their flaws. not trying to jump in and change them, because we don't know how to fix them. We barely know how to fix ourselves. If we're lucky, we figure out how to fix two things that have hurt, damaged us along the way to better improve our functionality. But we can't do that for everybody. Sometimes we just have to learn how to interact and give love to people even when it's hard. Giving them the room and the space to be who they are. You don't have to participate with it. You don't have to get yourself involved in other people's problems to solve or escape your own problems. So having that love and respect for Jim Bob. Okay, now we'll pull it out. Four of Wands. Where do we want to go? Where do we want to stand? What do we want to do with all of these feelings and ideas moving around about us? Making our place. Making a space. Hey, this is okay. Right here. I can hang out with Jim Bob. I'm not going to get personally involved with Jim Bob, but when I see him out and about, I'll stop and say hi. I'll have a good conversation with him. You know why? Because he probably needs somebody in his life to come by and just say a few nice words. Most people don't treat him that way. You don't have to be his best friend. You don't have to be directly involved with everybody that you interact with. That doesn't mean that we can't control how we interact with them. If they're not causing harm at that point in time, why are we trying to get in and shake things up, right? Respecting other people's boundaries and who they are and how they want to celebrate and live their lives, while sorting out our own, in our own circle, intermingling, coming together for the party. Then we all go home. I just want to go home. That's a vibe too. Page of Cups and the Moon. Making shapes with our romanticism. Allowing ourselves to be open to everything as it comes, as the waves ebb and flow, coming in, moving through. Those tides are connected to this moon. They move with the moon. That magnetic pull between the two, between the feelings. Those waters, they know each other. That's why the waves come up to meet the moon when it gets closer. And they pull back whenever the moon pulls back. The control of the tide floats above the waters. The control of our emotions is floating above those emotions. Not trying to cause conflict, noting the jet flying overhead. Just letting it wash over. Letting things pass. Letting some things be mysterious, unspoken, unsaid, unknown. Because when the moon comes closer and the tide pulls in and the waters get a little bit higher and they come up to meet us, it will be revealed holding that heart open, while still knowing we can draw our lines and we can interact. We can be that balance. giving good justice and integration. Integration as we get into our King of Swords and Two of Cups. There's magic in very simple places. Laying out our plots, getting those little seedlings outside into the ground. If weather permits, there's snow out there again. Big snowstorm. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. I think we've snowed on the Robin's Head twice by my count now. Spring comes. Being in control of those simple actions and simple waters that we pour. There is an ocean of emotions being pushed and pulled by that tide, but what we need is the wisdom of this King of Swords to know to cut that ocean down so we can fill our own cup and share that cup with somebody who may have waters from another place, another space. I'm thinking about like the different salts and how each body of water produces its own unique salts. Like, we all know you get your regular sea salt, the plain old white stuff that most of us are pretty commonplace with, and then you get your Himalayan salt. Now you've got some pink in there. There's different nutrients and elements in the salt that is created in those waters that changes the flavor, the color, and the consistency of that salt. Then you have like Celtic gray salt, and the waters over there, the salt is not pure white, it's not pink, but it has a little something different in it as well. And all of these different bodies of water producing different nourishing elements and bringing those together is kind of where I'm pulling this. Because the King of Swords is very well traveled. He's seen done a lot of things, and he's kept good records of what he's found. Two cups come together from across an ocean. That's a thing. So, I see you guys down there. I'm just trying to interpret what that was and why that came out like that. Why did that come out like that? I want to know. I'm curious. It looked like it was going to come out in front of us, but it was kind of like a weird reaction. And last time we were talking about those programs establishing our reactions. I don't know why, but I just like a little bit too far this way. I kind of deflected what was coming in here. Just kind of deflected what was coming in here. I didn't know it was going to go down like that. Honestly, I really didn't know it was going to go down like that, guys. Queen of Cups, Five of Cups, Four of Cups, and the Lovers. Seriously, is somebody in love with Jim Bob? Is somebody in love with Jim Bob? I need to know. Or are we trying to decide if we should love Jim Bob for who he is, get involved, get into that life? The recourse, the drama of that Five of Cups and Four of Cups. it looks like a lot of emptiness and a lot of codependency. I think that's why this Queen of Cups is standing here making that choice. Is this the challenge that you wish to accept? Is this a problem that you can work with? My ex-stepmom told me once, it's not falling in love, being in love, isn't about loving each other and being happy and perfect all of the time. It's about whose bullshit you can handle. Moment. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. It's about whose bullshit you can handle. Everyone has bullshit. Everybody has their demons. Everybody has their problems. When you are engaging with people, choosing the people that you want in your life, whether this is a lover's romantic relationship where you are deeply involved with a person, or this is just a connection with a person that you have. Relationships can be anything. Making that a point. However, when it comes to getting closely and deeply involved with an individual, you are going to realize, see, figure out, understand, hey, they're not all sunshine and rainbows. They have some problems. But do you have what it takes to deal with those problems? Do you have it in you? Feel compelled to share a little story time about a situation with myself and, well, one of my exes. We'll just narrow it down to one for this particular story. But this particular person was a really good man. Honestly, like, he was a hard worker, and he was very kind and very generous and very devoted. Unfortunately, he had some addiction problems, and I, at that point in my life, didn't know how to deal with that. I didn't know how to make it better. It just seemed to keep getting worse, and things got harder and harder and harder, and I couldn't deal with it. He was a really good person, honestly. But he had some demons, and the way that he internalized them was to suppress them through substances. And that substance abuse became a real problem for me that I couldn't handle. Why am I, like, about to cry about this? It was sad, though. It was, because, like, he was such a good person, but at the same time, I couldn't deal with it. I didn't know how. I didn't know how to keep him on the right path. And that's why I had to let him go. And that's why I had to put that relationship down. It's not that I didn't love him. It's not that I didn't want the best for him. It was that I couldn't do it. Didn't know how. Stop crying. Stop crying about it. This was years ago. It's fine. We're fine. He had his own journey to go through. He had his own things to figure out, and I knew at that point in time in my life that I wasn't going to help. I was only going to make it worse, because I didn't know how to deal with it. But there are problems that I can help with, that I do know how to deal with, and those types of relationships work for me. And learning how to work with people who have addictions, not just giving them allowances, not just being their friend, but learning how to give them guidance and uphold my own boundaries around those people was my own lesson that I had to learn. And the friction between that situation at that point in time in both of our lives, it wasn't going to improve our situation. We weren't going to make that better at that point in time because of who we were as people. However, when individuals grow, when they learn how to better handle other people's problems, that's why Jim Bob. That's why Jim Bob. When we better learn how to handle and deal with other people's problems and ourselves in those situations, learning how to put up those boundaries This is a time for celebration. This is a time for work. This is a time for seriousness. This is a time for fun. We can put everything into its proper place in elemental balance, because everybody has a little bit something different to add to this mixture, to this pot, this cauldron that we call life. And how we go about structuring it is very important. So finding that love and finding that inner strength to cope with, handle, deal with other people in the world. So we all had our own fucked up experiences. We all have our own damage, and we all have our own way of dealing with it. And everybody does it just a little bit different. So that's why it's important to observe and work with those elements on small levels. Getting those seeds growing, those little seedlings, just about this high right now. They're not too much. They're not much right now. But whatever they are and whatever they're going to be, the environment, the growth, and the care and the nurture that goes into those seeds, those plants, is what is going to dictate the survival and the lush growth of this thing. And maybe that's why we had that instant reaction of like, swatting this away, I can't deal with that, no, can't do that problem, can't do that problem. But there's love in there. There's just also some issues that some people need to work through. Can you handle yourself in this? Alright, we got a little storybook here. Can we map it out? Can we map it out? Now that we have given ourselves that little pushback, that distance, we can see things from a different perspective. And we can figure out, well, if I have this love for this person in my life and they have these problems, I don't necessarily want to leave this shore, but I also don't want to be standing on that ship at the same time. So we're going to map it out, and we're going to watch how these ships behave, move, function, and plan how they're going to come in, where they're going to port, where they're going to be positioned in our life. Bringing in that greater balance with the Six of Pentacles. Just exactly what I said. Putting things in their proper place. Learning how to uphold those boundaries so that those scales don't tip. No. Don't throw all of that into this one side. Let's be careful. Let's count. Let's make sure we measure and we know what's going where and what purpose it serves. I knew that was in there. I felt that. Like, I know the 6 was here, but I really thought it was going to be this coming up. It's in there. That's in there. Because I don't know if this is like a distance past type situation or if this is a recent past type situation. But there were cups exchanged either at some point in the past between you and this person. There was a love shared, and maybe it was innocent. Maybe you weren't even romantically involved at all. Maybe this was more childlike and innocent. But children grow. We all grow. We get bigger, we change. Things get harder. But there was something there that is either coming up now to spark awareness to a particular pattern or situation that is coming up, or there was something there that really was fruitful that we may have swatted away out of fear. Nine of Swords. I know, it's super crazy, right? Like, can I deal with this? Can I even deal with this? Can I do this? I don't know. Well, you can answer that for yourself. Can we? Queen of Swords beneath. Queen of Swords beneath the Nine of Swords. Yes, you can. Of course you can handle this. You can handle this with grace and dignity. All these queens are showing up to give us that feminine understanding and love and care and decisiveness. We're still holding those boundaries. We are still operating from a place of higher wisdom in the face of great fear and worry. Keep going this way. Knight of Pentacles, trudging on through. I just feel like he is really swiftly moving, and I don't know. I want to know which direction he's going. Eight of Cups. Is he walking away? Seeking adventure, seeking those greater wisdoms, learning those lessons for themselves. Aha! Temperance. What's beneath? And the King of Wands. The King of Wands running the show from behind the curtain. He's got such a Wizard of Oz kind of vibe right now. But there is a temperance and there is a balance to be called. And though it feels like strings are being pulled and there is some puppetry happening, at the same time it doesn't necessarily feel malicious. It feels careful. Like, I'm just not trying to put too much fire in right now. I don't need to put too much water in right now. We need to temper, balance, get that water to the correct temperature before we exchange. Because the amount of heat or ice that we apply to these circumstances and situations is going to dictate and determine how well those waters flow. Are they going to steam up and become gas? No more water? All gone? Boiled out? Are they going to rain down and flood and overflow? No. And keep it down just right. So our temperatures and our exchanges are appropriate and well procured. Procured is the word that's coming into my mind. Procured is the word that's coming to my mind with this pair of knights, that Eight of Cups. Something had to be procured in order to proceed. So whatever it is that you've been looking for, that they've been looking for, God, I hope you find it. I hope all of the choices that we made thus far have been leading us down that path. The things that we're walking away from might be coming back. We might be coming back to those. But that doesn't mean that we didn't have to walk away first. Right? Doesn't mean we didn't have to walk away first. Alright, I feel like we've really been rolling on this for a while. I want to push just one more out. I really do. I don't know if we have anything else to go through. This is the story of Jim Bob. Did a whole tarot read around one song that's been stuck in my head, and every conversation reminds me of it. Like, literally, just tap in here or there, and I'm like, Jim Bob, and that song comes back into my head. Like, no, that guy though. See, something wanted to come out, and I literally stopped it. So gently, so gracefully, so delicately. Thank you. That's what I wanted. Renewal. at the bottom of everything, at the end of everything, what we find is renewal. Spring is here. It has sprung. The waters, they're flowing easier. They're flowing cleaner. Because of all of the work, because of the journeys that not only we ourselves have gone on, but the people in the world around us that we interact with. We're all learning and working. And that is what is going to bring us all to this pool to share and enjoy some beautifully crafted artisanal waters. Thank you all. Have a fantastic mood. We'll see you next time.
I don't know, I just kind of want to go like a little bit deeper on this whole Jim Bob tirade and like really accepting things about people, because let's really think about it. Like, everybody in our lives, they all have flaws. What does it mean to like accept those flaws? It means that you gotta quit being a bitch about it. You gotta quit being a dick about it. You gotta let it the fuck go and accept that is a character trait, and you can't make that go away. It's not your responsibility. So you either let people do things the way that they do them, or you don't. And that is how they are a part of your perception or not a part of your perception. It's okay to accept some things about yourself. Be like, well, you know what? This is a root program that I have. I can bring awareness to this, and I can work with this thing, but I can't harp on myself over this every single time. I can't come down on myself like that. I can't allow other people to come down on me like that. I can't be coming down on other people for that. You gotta figure out how to work with it. And that takes patience. And that takes time. We're in a world where everybody wants everything right now. And everything that's happening right now is the most important thing. But just step back and apply the perception of wisdom. That perception from the crone. Your old person self. Think about that. Who are you going to be when you're an old person? You've known somebody with age who has gained wisdom, and it's as well as I'm sure you know somebody with age who has not gained wisdom. But how would you look at the situation? How dire, how desperate for you to want immediate results right the now. And you want everything to make sense right the now, when nothing ever makes sense. We can make sense out of 1, 2, 3 things at a time. And that's if you're an intelligent person. But even the most intelligent people are so dumb sometimes. Oh my gosh. And it's all about applying that perception and giving allowances, giving actual grace, a true acceptance. Alright, I think that's my tirade about Jim Bob and why you can still love Jim Bob for being Jim Bob. You just put him in the proper port. Put him in the proper place in your heart, in your life, in your experience. And you can still be there. In whatever capacity that means to you. Because we all got a little Jim Bob in us. So this is not just an external reflection, but accepting those parts of yourself. Being a little wild. We've all got that. And that wildness is as fun as it is dangerous, treacherous, and evil. But it's that spark that gives you the experiences and the stories to tell. and that wise perspective. All right. Have a fantastic moon, children. Also, having that ability to take that step back and apply that perspective really does matter on whether or not you participated in that Virgo work ahead energy. So if you are working tirelessly through the Virgo moon and you are exhausted right now, just know that all that work is giving you that extra time to rest. So good job, kids. Bye.